Have you ever just looked at a real expert and wondered, how do they do that? Well, it's not just about raw talent or thousands of hours of practice. Turns out behind pretty much every expert, there's a hidden support system, this framework that helps them get to where they are. Today, we're going to uncover that system, and we're going to find it in a place you would probably never expect. So, it all starts with this story about learning to swim, of all things, in a cold lake, no less. Now, the instructor, Jessica, she didn't just tell her students to jump in and figure it out. No, she gave them a mental framework, right? A way to think about the water not as something to fight, but as something that would support them. You've got this. She was building a bridge over their fear, making them feel successful before they even started. And you know what? What Jessica was doing there, it actually has a name. It's a huge concept in the world of education, but as we're about to see, it applies to, well, almost everything. It's called learning scaffolding. Okay, so here's the textbook definition, but let's break it down. Instructional scaffolds are basically just temporary supports. The best analogy? They're like the training wheels on a bike, or, the actual scaffolding on a building while it's being built. They're there to help you do something you couldn't quite do on your own. And, this is the important part, they're designed to be taken away. This whole idea really rests on three big pillars. First up is contingency. That's just a fancy word for giving the right help at the right time. Not too much, not too little. Then comes fading. This is so crucial. It's when you start to slowly pull back that help as the person gets better and more confident. And finally, you get to the whole point of the exercise, the transfer of responsibility. The learner is on their own now. The training wheels are officially off. They're riding the bike all by themselves. All right, so swimming, riding a bike, that all makes sense, right? But how in the world does this education theory connect to something like a broken air conditioner on the hottest day of the year? I know it sounds like a stretch, but believe me, the connection is way more direct than you think. Let's start with the first person in this story who needs some serious support, you. You're the customer. Your AC is dead. What's the very first thing you do? You grab your phone and you search online. And right there, in that moment of crisis, the first scaffold appears. It's one that businesses have built just for you. These keywords right here, this is the digital version of training wheels. Think about it. When your house is turning into an oven, you're not typing, "I require a detailed diagnostic on my residential cooling unit." Of course not. You're typing "AC repair near me." And companies know this. They build their entire online presence around these simple, direct phrases so they can meet you exactly where you are and give you the support you need right when you need it. And it gets even smarter. The way you search tells a story about what kind of help you need. If you type "AC stopped working," that's pure panic. That's emergency intent. But if you type "Why is my AC running but not cooling?" you're in a totally different headspace. You're trying to figure things out. That's diagnostic mode. And for each of these needs, businesses build a different scaffold, from a giant "Call Us 24/7" button to a helpful article that explains the problem. Okay, so the digital scaffold has done its job. It's guided you from panic to a potential solution. But now we have to talk about the other side of this whole equation. What about the expert, the professional who actually comes to your house? How do they get built? Well, that requires a whole different and honestly, a much deeper kind of scaffolding. This quote from an actual industry training manual just nails it. The industry doesn't need parts changers, people who just swap out parts and hope for the best. No way. You need a real technical professional who has the confidence to truly understand the problem. And that kind of confidence, it doesn't just happen. It's built piece by piece through years of very carefully structured, scaffolded training. A massive part of that training is about learning to see the world in a completely new way. For an HVAC technician, this means they have to learn to read the language of the machine itself. And the author of that manual makes this brilliant analogy. He says that learning to read a complex wiring diagram is a lot like learning a foreign language. To someone who only speaks English, the word pero is just a sound. It's meaningless. Until you learn, it means dog. It's the exact same thing with a wiring diagram. To a novice, a symbol is just a squiggly line. And this just shows it perfectly. To an expert, this simple little symbol doesn't just look like a switch. It is a thermostat that initiates the cooling cycle. They've been trained, they've been scaffolded to see not just the drawing, but its exact function, its purpose, its place in the entire system. They are literally fluent in a language that most of us don't even know exists. So we have these two incredibly powerful frameworks working at the same time, right? There's the digital one for you, the customer, and then there's this deep technical one for the professional. The real magic is in how they come together to actually get your air conditioner fixed. Let's just walk through the whole chain of events. It all starts with the problem. The AC dies. You, feeling totally lost, use that digital scaffold, Google, to find a company. That company sends out a technician who is standing on top of their own expert scaffold of training and knowledge. They then use their fluency in the machine's language to figure out what's really going on, and boom, they fix the right thing and the problem is solved. And that's the real takeaway here. Scaffolding isn't just some dusty theory from a textbook. It's this active, dynamic system that bridges the massive gap between a problem and its solution. And it does that by giving tailored support to everyone involved in the process, from the person panicking in their hothouse to the expert who knows exactly what to do. It really makes you think, doesn't it? The next time you go to your doctor, or you take your car to a mechanic, or you even talk to a financial advisor, just take a second and think about the invisible frameworks holding up all their expertise. What hidden language are they fluent in? And what kinds of scaffolds are there just out of sight, helping them help you?